Fancy a paper cut? Welcome to the World Wide Web. That great shimmering web of cats and pornography, born sometime in the foggy backrooms of the 1980s, when someone thought it'd be a splendid idea to let computers talk to each other. It was called cyberspace, the electronic frontier, which made it sound rather romantic, like a wild west of thought, when in fact it was mostly ASCII porn and chat rooms where grown adults pretended to be wizards. John Perry Barlow even wrote a Declaration of Independence for it, which I guess was cute. By the 1990s, the information superhighway, because nothing says digital revolution like a metaphor involving traffic jams and potholes, Al Gore, bless his recycled paper heart, tried to make it sound modern. Unfortunately, the superhighway soon became a roundabout with 20 exits, none of which signposted. Surf forward a few years and the dreams of freedom and intellectual utopia were replaced by a slightly damp corner of the internet where everyone shouted at each other and no one knew how to spell definitely. Suddenly, with an army of dancing hamsters throwing Viagra pop-ups at you, you arrived at Web 2.0. Congratulations, you're now the product! And before you could say it was peanut butter jelly time, everyone had a blog. Random Boo was born. Guest books filled, flash animations swarmed us with dancing badgers to the tune of Chocolate Rain, straight into the swag bag of E-Bomb's world. And then in that moment of MySpace and wikis at the peak of mankind, came the first recorded rickrolling. Like it knew. Soon the internet became known as a stream flowing under the banner of Facebook, sewage water invested with birthday announcements, minion memes and political rants by someone you didn't even like from school but have added as a friend anyway. And you didn't navigate anymore. You scrolled endlessly, like pushing a pram through a war zone. What began as a noble quest for knowledge ended with an infinite scroll. From the very beginning, we told ourselves what it was. We named it from space nets to surfing webs. Now we called it the internet. Cold, mechanical, impersonal, a name that clunks like a shopping trolley with a wonky wheel, designed not to inspire wonder, but to process it. The dark web, a phrase so demonized it might as well arrive in a trench coat telling you that the weather is unusually warm this time of year, is, believe it or not, just the internet. But without the nosy neighbours and cookie consent banners that feel more like veiled threats than actual choices. Admittedly, the name doesn't help. In a society raised on Pixar morals, dark means bad, and so people refuse to see what it protects, only what it hides. But what I personally find so interesting about the dark web is that it reminds me of the early web, before Google, Yahoo and ISP portals, which became the monetizing gatekeepers of other people's work. There is no SEO on the dark web. It's discoverability by word of mouth with niche communities and less centralization, and it made me realize where everything went wrong. I'm not suggesting it was better, well, I kinda am, but I'm also not. But there was a certain charm in social discovery instead of algorithmic delivery, because it was when the algorithms took over that the web then adapted, and search engine optimization followed. The dead internet theory, a name far too theatrical to take seriously and yet, like a clown at a funeral, disturbingly fitting, suggests the internet has been consumed by indifference masked as efficiency, leaving just a ventriloquist act performing in an empty theatre. The web continues its performance, but nobody's clapping. However, I'd argue that the current surge of bots flooding the web have just replaced all the fake accounts paid for engagement. They have always been there. I mean, let's be honest, most of us only signed guest books because it facilitated a link dump. And while we all complain about AI slop, the web was never short on authentic slop to begin with. All AI has really done is accelerate something that was already there. AI, winning a race nobody else was running, now victoriously prods the web with a stick like it's roadkill, questioning the value of its prize. Lights are on, and it's loud, crowded and restless, yet somehow hollow. The web once shimmered like spilt milk under the fridge, messy, chaotic, iridescent and alive. It was amazing. Now the web is no longer a place you surf, you just drown. For once upon this digital dream of Newgrounds and albino black sheep, where artists animated with MS Paint, musicians looped 8-bit symphonies, and teenagers penned unreadably brilliant fanfics, it was never for profit, but for the tragic, tender absurdity of creation itself. Can you imagine? Now, I log into YouTube and I'm greeted by thumbnail faces frozen in eternal orgasm for a sponsored unboxing, like a game of Pass the Parcel, except each pass requires you to stare at the corner of the box, skip ad in 3, 2, 1, yay! Surprise! A discount code. Why not watch my next video of me reacting to this video? The focus has dropped from I made this for me to I made this for you, with monthly, weekly, or even daily uploads. That wasn't AI. That was the love child of an algorithm and monetization. But now comes AI. Cool, clean, calculated, efficient in the way that death is. It can do everything now. Write, sing, paint, animate, make you eat rocks. It is the world's most articulate coma. And it's getting better. Almost too good, but like a photograph of a meal, it'll look real but still taste like a paper cut. And as a creator, albeit not a good one, am I bothered? Between you and me, no, because I already watched the internet do this without AI. We didn't need machine learning to hollow things out. We did it ourselves with upload schedules, content calendars, thumbnail faces contorted into marketable emotion, and the slow, quiet replacement of making with performing usefulness. The algorithm didn't steal creativity, it simply rewarded the kind that could be packaged, repeated, and sold until the packaging became the product. So when people tell me AI has no meaning, I don't even disagree. A lot of it does feel like a mannequin wearing the skin of an idea. However, if your work actually has meaning, people can feel the difference. Meaning is not a filter, it's not a style, it's not the correct brush texture or the right 3-act structure. Meaning is intent, taste, obsession. It's that wound you keep picking at over and over until it becomes a poem or a game or a painting or a stupid little website with too many hover effects. Meaning is the part that can't be reverse engineered from everyone else's output because it comes from you being alive, not from you being optimized. Which is why the loudest creators complaining that audiences can't tell aren't exposing AI's emptiness. They're accidentally confessing their own. If your viewers genuinely can't tell the difference between your work and AI sludge, the problem isn't that AI has no meaning. It's because you've lost yours. You turned your creativity into a commodity, like a production line, making a predictable texture that could be produced on schedule for the correct platform, for the correct payout. And now you're shocked that somebody has invented a machine that can automate the same workflow. That's what this is really about, not about the art or soul, but about supply. AI didn't steal your meaning, it just undercut your business model. And the reason I'm not panicking is simple. I'm not competing in that market. I make things because I want them to exist. I don't need an audience to justify it and ignore a paycheck to prove it was worth it. If your creativity was only ever valuable because it looked like creativity from a distance, then AI isn't the death of art. It's just the automation of your labor. And maybe that's why the web feels so haunted now. Not because the machines arrived, but because so many humans had already started acting like them, serving paper cuts as meals.